Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to the 2023 New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Finals. My name is Natalie, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the Count Basie Center of the Arts for the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Finals this morning, along with my co-host, Jared. Before we begin, we do have a few house announcements. We want to be sure to support the students in their recitations and create an ideal performance environment. So with that, please no flash photography, turn off and silence all of your cell phones, and if you need to leave, please wait until we are in between recitations.
Wonderful. We had a little bit of applause. Let me take that mic. We had a little bit of applause, but let me ask, how is everybody doing? Wonderful. As Natalie said, we're both very excited to be here for the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud here today. We are performers and educators, both of us in Monmouth County. Do you want to tell a little bit about what you do next?
Sure. I am actually an arts educator right here at the Count Basie. We actually just got done doing a project together. If you were able to catch it, it was Once on This Island. It was 2 weeks ago. Me as choreographer and Jared as director. And I also am in NJ schools all over, working with a program called Lead You, powered by the Society of the Prevention of Teen Suicide, just uplifting students and building resilience across the state.
So I am also, like Natalie said, I am a teacher here at the Count Basie. I also am working through the Lake House Music Academy to teach voice and music throughout Monmouth County schools. So we are so intimately connected with everything that's going on here today with you guys. So we are one of you, and we are sharing all this love and energy, everything we possibly can with you guys today. So we just wanted to say thank you to all of the people that participated and the 10 participants that we have here today. So we just, again, another huge congratulations. I'll shut that down. Now, New Jersey Poetry Out Loud is a project of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts and the Count Basie Center for the Arts. But it's important to note that Poetry Out Loud happens across the state thanks to a growing network of regional partners, including Rutgers Camden, New Jersey Center for the Arts, Appel Farms Arts and Music Center, Jay and Linda Grunin Center for the Arts, Mayo Performing Arts Center, South Orange Performing Arts Center, and Ramapo College of New Jersey. We also offer special thanks to the CavanKerry Press, Ltd., who provides finalists and their teachers with books of poetry.
All right, now it's our pleasure to welcome to the stage President and CEO of the Count Basie Center of the Arts, Adam Phillipson.
Good morning. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Adam Phillipson. I'm the CEO and president at the Count Basie Center for the Arts. And on behalf of our board of trustees, many who are here today, and our chairperson, Jeremy Grunin, we welcome you to the Basie Center. We are thrilled to be the statewide partner for the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud. Before I continue, I just would like to thank a couple of dignitaries that are here today to enjoy the day. I'd like to welcome Assemblywoman Kimberly Yulner and her Chief of Staff, Anissa Esposito, Assemblywoman Marilyn Papirno, Councilman Ed Zeprich, and Councilman John Jackson. Also, our Chief of Police, who's the interim city manager, Darren McConnell, and we had a representative from Senator Vin Gopal's office come as well. So thank you all for being here. We are so thrilled to be here, and especially in support of the 10 finalists competing for the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Championship title. New Jersey Poetry Out Loud holds a very special place with us. For 7 years, the Basie served as a regional partner for NJPOL, and for the last 2 years, we have been thrilled to work alongside the State Arts Council in the statewide management and implementation of this program. We know that through this partnership, we will be able to grow Poetry Out Loud, and that our offerings would be a greater reach in the spirit of reaching new teachers, all students, organizations, and poetry lovers throughout New Jersey. A very special thanks to the leadership and support of the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation. who have led, supported this program across the nation for 18 years. So we certainly could not do this without you, and we are honored to be joined today by Kate Morgan, Assistant Grants Manager Specialist in the Literary Arts and Arts Education Division at the National Endowment for the Arts. Kate, would you like to join us for a few words?
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation, I would like to thank some, early showmanship. I would like to thank the New Jersey State Council of the Arts for your continued success in bringing poetry out loud to the state of New Jersey. The NEA and the Poetry Foundation created Poetry Out Loud to encourage high school students across the country to learn about classic and contemporary poetry. Everyone in this room knows that poetry has inherent value. When you memorize a poem, you are building a personal connection with a work of art, which you can then carry with you. Poetry Out Loud is more than a competition. It is a unique arts and educational experience, a confidence builder that propels students in ways that benefit them and all of us. Since the program began in 2005, more than 4.3 million students and 76,000 teachers from more than 19,000 schools and organizations across the country have participated in Poetry Out Loud, and the program continues to grow. All of you are a part of this nationwide effort. Thank you to Samantha Clark, Samantha Giustiniani, and Kenya Bullock for your coordination of New Jersey's Poetry Out Loud. To the regional partners who made today possible, and to our host and NEA grantee, Count Basie Center for the Arts. We're so grateful for their hard work and the commitment to bringing poetry out loud to schools across the state. We also want to acknowledge the teachers who have motivated their students to discover poetry. This year, 352 New Jersey teachers brought poetry out loud to their classrooms. The program succeeds because of your time, talent, and dedication. Thank you. And to the family, friends, and audience members with us, thank you for your support and for cheering on these talented students today. Finally, to the state finalists, be proud of how far you've come and enjoy your time on the stage today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you for being here with us. So I just want to take this time to thank Poetry Out Loud team. From the Count Basie Center for the Arts, Samantha Giustiniani, the Senior Director of Education and Outreach, and Kenya Bullock, the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Coordinator and School Programs and Partnership Programs Manager. And of course, Samantha Clark, Program Officer for Arts Education and Lifelong Learning at the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. You have no idea how much the three of these ladies did to get us here today, so I just want to thank them all. And of course, congratulations to all of the students who competed throughout the state, their families, and their teachers. Thank you all for continuing to make the arts an essential part of a young person's education. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you, Adam. Each year, Poetry Out Loud provides hundreds of thousands of high school students nationwide the opportunity to learn about the impact and the power of poetry. Since the program began in 2005, more than 4.1 million students and 68,000 teachers from 17,000 schools and organizations in the 55 states and territories have participated in Poetry Out Loud. So we are here today to celebrate and cheer on our finalists from our state and crown our New Jersey champion and runner-up. So Jared, can you tell us a little bit of how this competition will work today?
Surely can. We're going to start by meeting each of the 10 regional finalists. Then we're going to begin with round one, where each student will recite. Once we finish round one, we will continue right into round two. There will be no break, so please just stay in your seats. At the end of round two, we will take a short intermission, and then our finalists will recite in round three. The 10 state finalists complete by reciting poems for our judges, who score them on physical presence, voice, and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, accuracy, and their overall performance. At the close of round 3, we will honor our state finalists and announce the New Jersey champion and runner-up. The winner of today's state finalists will be named the New Jersey state champion, and they will have the honor of representing New Jersey on the national stage in Washington, D.C. this May. Thanks to our partners at CavanKerry Press, the state champion's teacher will also be awarded free tuition and lodging to attend the Frost Place Annual Poetry Conference for teachers this summer.
Now, before we meet our finalists, we would like to introduce some people behind the scenes that can make this all possible. We have our jurors today. We have Nicole Homer, who is an author and editor. We have Robert Weinstein, who is editor of Gerson Publishing Company. We also have Monifa Kincaid, who is the program assistant for Arts Education, New Jersey. We have our accuracy judge, Heather Burke, who is from the Count Basie Center of the Arts Board of Trustees. Our prompter today, who is Kevin McGee from the Count Basie Center of the Arts. And a special thank you to our ASL interpreters for joining us today, Stephen Toth and Kim Van Cleef. We would also like to recognize the staff behind the scenes who helped make this possible today. So, from the Count Basie Center of the Arts, we have the Basie Center Tech and Front House of Staff, we have our education team, and the entire administrative staff behind the scenes. The staff of the New Jersey State Council of the Arts and their executive director, Allison Tratner. And our guest of honor, Kate Morgan from the National Endowment of the Arts, Kevin O'Brien, the chair of the Arts Education Committee, NJ State Council of the Arts, and Jeremy Grunin, council member at NJ State Council of the Arts.
The students pour time, effort, talent, and passion into their recitations and the Poetry Out Loud program, but they wouldn't be here without the support of their teachers, school administration, classmates, family, and friends. And so without further ado, the 18th Annual New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Regional Finalists. Kaylin Cass Adams Johnson from Mainland Regional High School. Gwendolyn Chung from Dr. Ronald E. McNair High School. Jake Fredericks from Red Bank Regional High School. Connor Gargiulo from West Milford High School. Dayla Kim from Livingston High School. Victoria King from Rancaucus Valley Regional High School. Amaya Martinez from North Star Academy, Washington Park. Leanna Mentone from Vernon Township High School. Avanti Potwarden from Bridgeton Raritan High School. And finally, Lydia Smith from Henry Hudson Regional High School. Let's give all of our champions a huge round of applause. Wonderful. Again, thank you for all your support. Wonderful. With all that said, we'll begin our competition with the first round.
Anthem for My Belly After Eating Too Much by Kara Jackson. I look in the mirror and all the chips I've eaten this month have accumulated, like schoolwork at the bottom of my tummy. My belly, a country I'm trying to love. My mouth is a lover devoted to you, my belly, my belly. The birds will string a song together with wind for you and your army of solids, militia of Greece. Americans love excess, but we also love genes and refuse to make excess comfortable in them. I step into a fashionable prison, my middle managed and fastened into suffering, my gracious, gut-dutiful dome I will wear a house for you that you can live in. Promise walls that embrace your growing flesh and watch you reach toward everything possible. Thank you.
Key to the Dollar Store by Al Young. Just tell me, who the hell am I? What powers do I hold? What right have I to say my, or mine, or me, all honey glazed, all bulletproof, and worshipful of any gangster eye? The key to the dollar store hangs on my belt. Yes, my again. And what of Ruth? Of bread, of loving laughter, what's in? My vinyl favorite, Booker Little, vintage, soothes me. He jars our ears with trumpet joy and stuff freed folks stash in cabinets. Never one to make too much of why we love and what. I love my powers. I might put you in my will. Thank you.
The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. 1. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. 2. Forward the Light Brigade, was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. 3. Cannon to right of them, cannon to left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell. Boldly they rode, and well, into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell rode the 600. 4. Flashed all their sabers bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabering the gunners there, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged in the battery's smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the saber stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. 5. Cannon to right of them, cannon to left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. 6. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made, all the world wondered. Honor the charge they made, honor the Light Brigade, noble 600.
Alternate Names for Black Boys by Denez Smith. 1. Smoke above the burning bush. 2. Arch nemesis of summer night. 3. First son of soil. 4. Coal awaiting spark and wind. 5. Guilty until proven dead. 6, oil, heavy, starlight. 7, monster, until proven ghost. 8, gone. 9, phoenix, who forgets to unash. 10, going, gone. 11, gods of shovels and black bells. 12, what once passed for kindling. 13, fireworks at dawn. 14, brilliant, shadowed, hued coral. 15, I thought to leave this one blank, but who am I to name us nothing? 16, prayer, who learned to bite and sprint. 17, a mother's joy, and clutched breath. Thank you.
Say Grace by Emily Jungmin Yoon. In my country, our shamans were women and our gods multiple, until white people brought an ecstasy of rosaries, and our cities today glow with crosses like graveyards. As a child in Sunday school, I was told I'd go to hell if I didn't believe in God. Our teacher was a woman whose daughters wanted to be nuns, and I asked, what about babies? And what about Buddha? And she said, they're in hell too. And so I memorized prayers and recited them in front of women I did not believe in. Deliver us from evil, O sweet Virgin Mary, O sweet, O sweet. In this country which calls itself Christian, what is sweeter than hearing, have mercy on us, from those who serve different gods? O clement, O loving, O God, amidst ruins, amidst waters, fleeing. Deliver us from evil. O sweet, O sweet. In this country, point at the moon, at the stars, point at the way the lake lies with a hand full of feathers, and they will look at the feathers and kill you for it. If a word for religion they don't believe in is magic, so be it. Let us have magic. Let us have our own mothers and scarves, our spirits, our shamans, and our sacred books. Let us keep our stars to ourselves, and we shall pray to no one. Let us eat what makes us holy.
This is Sorrow Is Not My Name by Ross Gay. No matter the pull toward brink, no matter the florid, deep sleep awaits, there is a time for everything. Look, just this morning a vulture nodded his red, grizzled head at me, and I looked at him, admiring the sickle of his beak. Then the wind kicked up, and after arranging that good suit of feathers, he up and took off. Just like that. And to boot, there are on this planet alone something like 2 million naturally occurring sweet things. Some with names so generous as to kick the steel from my knees. Agave, persimmon, stickball, the purple okra I bought for $2 at the market. Think of that. The long night, the skeleton in the mirror, the man behind me on the bus taking notes. Yeah, but look. My niece is running through a field calling my name. My neighbor sings like an angel, and at the end of my block is a basketball court. I remember. My color's green. I'm spring.
La Belle Dame Sans Merci, a ballad by John Keats. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge has withered from the lake, and no birds sing. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so woe begone? The squirrel's granary is full, and the harvest's done. I see a lily on thy brow with anguish moist and fever dew, and on thy cheeks a fading rose fast withereth too. I met a lady in the meads, full, beautiful, a fairy's child. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and her eyes were wild. I made a garland for her head, and bracelets too, and fragrant zone. She looked at me as she did love, and made sweet moan. I set her on my pacing steed, and nothing else saw all day long. For sidelong would she bend and sing a fairy song. She found me roots of relish sweet, and honey wild, and manna dew. And sure, in language strange, she said, I love thee true. She took me to her elfin grot, and there she wept and sighed full sore. And there I shut her wild, wild eyes with kisses full. And there she lulled me asleep. And there I dreamed, ah, woe betide, the latest dream I ever dreamt on the cold hillside. I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors, death pale were they all. They cried, La Belle Dame sans merci hath thee in thrall. I saw their starved lips in the gloam with horrid warning gaped wide. And I awoke and found me here on the cold hillside. And this is why I sojourn here, alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake, and no birds sing.
Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
April Midnight by Arthur Symons. Side by side through the streets at midnight, roaming together through the tumultuous night of London in the miraculous April weather. Roaming together under the gaslight, day's work over. How the spring calls to us here in the city, calls to the heart from the heart of a lover. Cool, the wind blows fresh in our faces, cleansing, entrancing. After the heat and the fumes and the footlights, where you dance, and I watch your dancing. Good it is to be here together, good to be roaming, even in London, even at midnight. Lover-like in a lover's gloaming. You the dancer, and I the dreamer. Children together, wandering lost in the night of London, in the miraculous April weather. Thank you.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love not too much, but how? When thou hast made me such, and dost the gifts bestow, how can I love too much. Though I must fear to lose and drown my joy in care with all its thorns, I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou I know not why didst kill my childish trust, that breach with toil did I repair because I must, and spite of frightening schemes with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams, so far I have hoped well. But what the heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought, shall quite exculpate thee? I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? The question from which began, sad and vain, justifies thee to man.
Respectability by Tina Boyer Brown. We ask our children to act calm, nervous, whatever innocent looks like when some cop shows his badge, pulls his gun, slows his car. We beg kids to say soft yes sirs. We beg kids to get in the hood of that car, empty their pockets, shut up, put your hands behind your head. No is an existential threat. 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 Never 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 is an existential threat. We dare ask for humility in the face of this oppression? We have no idea what the threat feels like, but we know Brianna, Rakia, Sandra, Nia, Betty, Yvette, Miriam, Sharice, Ahmad, Trayvon, Eric, Laquan, Michael, Philando, Stefan, Alton, Amadou, Akai, Contonio, Ramai, John, Jordan, Jonathan, Ronaldo, Kendrick, Marley, Walter, Terrence, Freddie, Samuel, George, Tamir, and more, and more, and more. There's no open risk declaring our innocence that will confer peace where innocence need. Our children stand in front of doors, pages, words in the streets. They shut down. They shut down. They shut down the forces that burn against them.
Bereavement by William Lyle Bowles. Whose was that gentle voice? That whispering sweet promise methought long days of bliss sincere. Soothing, it stole on my deluded ear, most like soft music that might sometimes cheat thoughts dark and drooping. 'Twas the voice of hope, of love and social scene. It seemed to speak of truth, of friendship, of affection meek. That, oh, poor friend, might to life's downward slope lead us in peace and bless our latest hours. Ah, me, the prospect saddened as she sung. Loud on my startled ear, the death bell rung. Chill darkness wrapped the pleasurable bowers, wild horror pointing to yon breathless clay. No peace be thine, exclaimed. Away, away.
Over and Under by John Brehm. So sexy to slide underneath a river, to sit inside this snake-like, submarine-like subway car and freely imagine the world above. The Brooklyn Bridge, invisibly trembling with the weight of its own beauty. The East River, still guided by the grooves Walt Whitman's eyes wore in it. The bulldog tugboats, pushing the passively impressive broad-bottomed barges around. And the double-decker orange and black Staten Island ferries, with their aura of overworked pack mule mournfulness. And beyond them, the Atlantic Ocean, which I lately learned was brought here by ice comets 3 billion years ago, which explains a few things, like why everybody feels so alienated, and, of course, the thoughts being thought by every person in New York City at this moment. Vast schools of undulating fish, curving and rising in the cloud-swirling, wind-waved sky, surrounded by the vaster emptiness of non-thought which holds them, and which they try not to think about. And you, lying in bed in your 6th floor walk-up sublet on St. Mark's Place, such a breathtaking ascension. Imagining me rising now to meet you.
This is We Wear the Mask by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls rise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile, but let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask.
Slant by Suji Kwak Kim. If the angle of an eye is all, the slant of hope, slant of dreaming, according to each life, what is the light of this city? Light of Lady Liberty, possessor of the most famous armpit in the world. Light of the lovers on Chinese soap operas, throwing barbecue ducks at each other with that live it up while you're young, woo me kind of love. Light of the old men sitting on crates outside gewgaw shops, selling dried seahorses and plastic temples of heaven. Light of the yin and yang junk palace. Light of the Golden Phoenix hair salon. Light of Wig-O-Ramos. Light of the suntanners in Central Park
turning over like rotisserie chickens sizzling on a spit. Light of the pluck you and Gone with the Wings fried chicken chops. The parking meter leaders. The glamazons. The oglers. Wearing firm, wilting quantities of cologne. Strutting, trash talking, glorious. The immigrants, the refugees, the peddlers, stockbrokers and janitors, stenographers and cooks. All of us making and unmaking ourselves, hurrying forward towards who will become. One way only, one life only. Free in time, but not from it. Here in the city, the living make together and make and unmake over and over. Quick, quick, ask heaven of it, of every mortal relation, feeling that is fleeing. For what would the heart be without a heaven to set it on? I can't help thinking, no word will ever be as full of life as this world. I can't help thinking of things.
Stomp by Nikki Grimes. I come home, feet about to bleed from angry stomping. Boy, says Mom, quit making all that racket. But what does she expect? When day after day, haters sling words at me like jagged stones designed to split my skin. I retreat to my room, collapse on the bed, count 1, 2, 3. When I get to 10, I snatch up journal and pen, flip to a clean page, and unload my hurt, my rage, till I can breathe again. Letter by letter, I rediscover my power to decide which words matter, which words don't, and whose. Calm now, I remember. I get to choose. Thank you.
The world is about to end, and my grandparents are in love, by Kara Jackson. Still, living like they orbit one another, my grandfather, the planet, and grandma, his moon assigned by some gravitational pull. They have loved long enough for a working man to retire. Grandma says she's not tired. She wears her husband like a coat that survives every season, talks about him the way my parents talk about vinyl, the subject salvaged by the tint of their tongues. Grandma returns to her love like a hymn, marks it with a color. When the world ends, will it suck the earth of all its love? Will I go taking somebody's hand, my skin becoming their skin? The digital age is taking away our winters. And I'm afraid the sun is my soulmate. That waste waits for a wet kiss. Carbon calls me pretty. And I think death is a good first date. I hope when the world ends, it leaves them be. Spares Grandpa and his game, Grandma spinning corn into weight, the two of them reeling into Western theme songs, the TV louder than whatever's coming. Thank you.
La Belle Dame Sans Merci, a ballad by John Keats. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge has withered from the lake, and no birds sing. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so woe-begone? The squirrel's granary is full, and the harvest done. I see a lily on thy brow, with anguish moist and fever dew, and on thy cheeks a fading rose fast withereth too. I met a lady in the meads, full beautiful, a fairy's child. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and her eyes were wild. I made a garland for her head, and bracelets too in fragrant zone. She looked at me as she did love, and made sweet moan. I set her on my pacing steed, and nothing else saw all day long. For sidelong would she bend and sing a fairy song. She found me roots of relish sweet, and honey wild and manna dew, and sure in language strange she said, I love thee true. She took me to her elfin grot, and there she wept and sighed full sore, and there I shut her wild, wild eyes with kisses four. And there she lulled me asleep, and there I dreamed, ah, woe betide, the latest dream I ever dreamt on the cold hillside. I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors, death pale were they all. They cried, La Belle Dame sans merci, thee hath enthrall. I saw their starved lips in the gloam, with horrid warning gaped wide. And I awoke, and found me here, on the cold hill's side. And this is why I sojourn here, alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake, and no birds sing.
The Debt by Paul Laurence Dunbar. This is the debt I pay just for one riotous day, years of regret and grief, sorrow without relief. Pay it I will to the end, until the grave, my friend, gives me a true release, gives me the clasp of peace. Slight was the thing I bought, small was the debt I thought, poor was the loan at best, God, but the interest.
The Bearer by Hayden Carruth. Like all his people, he felt at home in the forest, the silence beneath great trees, the dimness there, the distant high rustling of foliage, clumps of fern like little green fountains, patches of sunlight, patches of moss and lichen, the occasional undergrowth of hazel and holly. Was he aware of all this? On the contrary, his unawareness was a kind of gratification, a sense of comfort and repose, even in the strain of running day after day. He had been aware of the prairies. He had known he hated the sky so vast, the wind roaring in the grasses, and the brightness that hurt his eyes. Now he hated nothing, nor could he feel anything but the urgency that compelled him onward continually. May I not forget, he said to himself over and over. When he saw 3 ravens rise on their awkward wings from the forest floor, perhaps 75 ells ahead of him, he said, 3 ravens, and immediately forgot them. May I not forget, he said, and repeated again in his mind the exact words he had memorized, the message that was important and depressing, which made him feel worry and happiness at the same time. A peculiar elation. At last, he came to his people far in the darkness. He smiled and spoke his words, and he looked intently into their eyes gleaming in firelight. He cried when they cried. No rest for his lungs. He flinched and lay down while they began to kill him with clubs and heavy stones.
To an Athlete Dying Young by A.E. Housman. The time you won your town the race, we cheered you through the marketplace. Man and boy stood cheering by, and home we brought you, shoulder high. Today, the road all runners come. Shoulder high we bring you home and set you at your threshold down, townsman of a stiller town. Smart lad, just slip betimes away from fields where glory does not stay. And early though the laurel grows, it withers quicker than the rose. Eyes the shady night has shut cannot see the record cut. And silence sounds no worse than cheers after earth has stopped the ears. Now you will not swell the rout of lads that wore their honors out, runners whom renown outran, and the name died before the man. So set, before its echoes fade, the fleet foot on the sill of shade, and hold to the low lintel up this still defended challenge cup. And around that early laureled head will flock to gaze the strengthless dead, and find unwithered on its curls the garland briefer than a girl's.
This is Burning in the Rain by Richard Blanco. Someday, compassion would demand I set myself free of my desire to recreate my father, indulge in my mother's losses, strangle lovers with words, forcing them to confess for me and take the blame. Today was that day. I tossed them sheet by sheet on the patio and gathered them into a pyre. I wanted to let them go in a blaze, tiny white dwarfs imploding beside the azaleas and ficus bushes. Let them crackle, burst like winged seeds, let them smolder into gossamer embers 1,000 gray butterflies in the wind. Today was that day, but it rained. Kept raining instead of fire, water, drops knocking on doors, wetting windows into mirrors, reflecting me in the oaks, the garden walls and stones swelling into ghostlier shades of themselves, the wind chimes giggling in the storm, a coffee cup left overflowing with rain. Instead of burning, my pages turned into water lilies floating over puddles. Then tiny white cliffs as the sun set, finally drying all night under the moon into paper mache souvenirs. Today, the rain would not let their lives burn.
The Robots Are Coming by Kyle Dargan. With clear-cased woofers for heads, no eyes, they see us as a bat sees a mosquito, a fleshy echo, a morsel of sound. You've heard their intergalactic tour buses purring at our stratosphere's curve. They await counterintelligence transmissions from our laptops and our blue teeth. Await word of humanity's critical mass. Our ripening. How many times have we dreamed it this way? The age of the machines, post-industrial terrors whose tempered paws, 5 welded fingers, wrench back our roofs, siderophilic tongues seeking blood, licking the crumbs of us from our beds. Oh, great nation, it won't be pretty. What land will we now barter for our lives? A treaty inked in advance of the Metal One's footfall. Give them Gary, give them Detroit, Pittsburgh, Braddock, those forgotten nurseries of girders and axles. Tell the machines we honor their dead, distant cousins. Tell them we tendered those cities to repose out of respect for welded steel's bygone era. Tell them Ford and Carnegie were giant men that war glazed their palms with gold. Tell them we, soft beings, mourn manufacture's death as our own.
Black Boys Play the Classics by Toy Darracott. The most popular act in Penn Station is the 3 black kids in ratty sneakers and t-shirts playing 2 violins and a cello. Brahms. White men in business suits have already dug into their pockets as they pass, and they toss in $1 or 2 without stopping. Brown men in work-soiled khakis stand with their mouths open, arms crossed on their bellies as if they themselves have always wanted to attempt those bars. One white boy, 3, sits cross-legged in front of his idols in ecstasy. Their slick, dark faces, their thin, wiry arms, who must begin to look like angels. Why does this trembling pull us? A, beneath the surface, we are one. B, amazing. I did not think that they could speak this tongue.
We would like to now welcome to the stage poet and author Gabriel Cleveland, who is also the managing editor and director for CavanKerry Press, to perform his poems, I Can Walk in Silence, How to Savor an Avocado, and Speak.
So I'm going to try to recite them because I was inspired by these phenomenal student recitations and honored to be sharing the stage with them. I can walk in silence. I can walk in silence. Yes, I can walk in silence. I can move to the sound of my quiet thoughts. I can walk in silence. Wind whips my skin beneath my threadbare shirt. I can walk in silence. Cars roll by like oceans. The occasional jumping call of bumping bass. Grating growls of planes as they scrape through sky. I can walk in silence. The tap, tap, tap of my idle headphone cord. The flapping flag smacking its frozen pole. The popping of my bones. With every step, I can walk in silence. Saliva squelches within my cheeks. The steady weight of my heavy breath. The shutter clicking of my eyelids. Yes, I can walk in silence. This is the hardest one. We'll see how it goes. How to savor an avocado. With your hands, cradle its fullness and its weight. Press the ridges of your fingerprints upon its small black bumps as it gives itself, but slightly, into your grip. Twist the stem for a green peak within, then halve it, crescent movement of your knife. Hold the fruit by its newfound seal, by its newfound seam, and repeat your cut for quarters to unfold, lotus-like, from its tender wooden heart. Pinch the corner of the skin, then unpeel slowly, unsealing an envelope. Thumb at rest in the concave of its verdant flesh, 2 fingers arched along its back. Welcome it to your mouth, the secret you repeat upon first hearing until it's part of you. Introduce it to each of your teeth. Introduce it to each of your teeth and let it swaddle the enamel. Like desperately good news, swallow slowly so it will last. And finally, this one is short. It's called Speak, and I want to dedicate it to all the wonderful student recitations and speakers, all the students in general. inherit the earth with a vengeance. We're all going to be better for it. I believe that. Thank you so much for everything. So here is my poem. Speak. If we're alone and nothing like us lives across this endless galaxy, throughout this ever-expanding universe, if cosmic silence is deafening, every whisper that escapes your lips is the loudest sound in existence. And I'm lucky, we're lucky, just to listen. Thank you.
I would like to welcome to the stage an individual who was integral to forwarding the mission of New Jersey's Poetry Out Loud and a steadfast supporter of the arts throughout the state. From the New Jersey State Council of the Arts, Kevin O'Brien.
I've said this at every regional that I've been at. I'd love to be first on the agenda instead of last because I can't follow this. This is an incredible presentation today, and I just want to give it up for everybody that's been up here. The recitation is gorgeous. Thank you, Natalie and Jared. Good afternoon. I bring greetings from Governor Phil Murphy, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, New Jersey Secretary of State Tahisha Way, Liz Mattson, our chairwoman of the council, and the entire council. As chair of the Arts Education Committee at New Jersey State Council on the Arts for the last 5 years, one of the highlights of this position is that it has allowed me to see the growth of arts education throughout the state, north to south, east to west. During my tenure, I've watched art organizations, legislators, and the state's Arts Council dedicate itself to spreading the message that a young person's education is not complete without the arts. Programs like Poetry Out Loud take this important message and bring it directly into the classroom, but not without the dedication and determination of classroom educators who make this possible. New Jersey continues to show up and show up strong. Last year, we ranked number 4 in the nation for student participation. With 64 schools participating this year, we anticipate amongst the top in the nation. Poetry Out Loud would not be possible without the passionate individuals who keep learning alive for young people every day. And so we celebrate all of you. Our top 10 state finalists and their caregivers, and especially the teachers. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you. I also want to thank the extraordinary staff behind the scenes, the council's own Samantha Clark. I call her my left and my right arm. Samantha, thank you. Our Poetry Out Loud coordinator, Kenya Bullock, thank you. And Samantha Jessinani, our team at the Count Basie Center for the Arts. Our partnership with Count Basie works so well because of our shared belief in the importance of art in all its forms, especially for young people, especially now. I happen to mention to Allison Tratner, our executive director, coming out of a pandemic, this is what shines. This, what we saw today, is the diamond, not in the rough. We came through the rough from the pandemic, and now they shine. Before we announce the winners, I want to give some closing remarks. If you were at the Region 4 and 5, you've heard these remarks, but they bear repeating in front of this audience of students and educators. A few years ago, a New York City English teacher challenged her high school students to write a letter to their favorite author and to invite him or her to visit the school. 5 students wrote to Kurt Vonnegut, the author of such classic novels as Slaughterhouse-Five and Breakfast of Champions. The author responded. He thanked the students for their warm letter, but with his typical gallows humor, he said, "At the age of 84, I no longer make public appearances because I resemble so much as an iguana, I don't go out these days." However, he offered them some advice. Practice any music, art, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, sculpting, fiction, poetry, essays, no matter how well or badly, not to get money or fame, but to experience what he deemed becoming, to find out what's inside of you, to make your soul grow. Then Vonnegut gave the students an assignment. Write a 6-line poem, anything you want, but make it rhyme. Make it as good as you possibly can. But don't share it with anybody. Don't tell anybody what you're doing. Don't show it, don't recite it, don't show it to your parents, your boyfriend or girlfriend. Then tear it up into teeny little pieces. He went even further and he said, put it in widely scattered trash receptacles so that no one can ever find it. The author concluded, you'll find that you've already been gloriously rewarded for your poem. You've experienced becoming. You've learned a lot more about what's inside of you, and you have made your soul grow. In my humble opinion, the over 10,000 New Jersey student participants in Poetry Out Loud have exceeded Mr. Vonnegut's expectations. And moreover, these 10 finalists that you saw today, you heard today, have not only become, but in the parlance of my profession, show business, they have arrived. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Now we'd like to welcome back our students onto the stage and present each with certificates of participation and achievement in Poetry Out Loud. Lydia Smith. Avanti Patwardhan. Leanna Mentone. Amaya Martinez. Victoria King. Dayla Kim. Connor Gargiulo. Jake Fredericks. Gwendolyn Chung. Kaylin Cass Adams Johnson.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for. The runner-up for the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud 2023 State Finalists. The runner-up is Connor Gargiulo. And our state finalist, who will represent the great state of New Jersey in the May national contest in Washington, D.C. is Lydia Smith.
All right, thank you all for coming today to the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Finals at the Count Basie Center of the Arts and participating in Poetry Out Loud. We are so grateful to all of the educators and caregivers that have provided support to these students on stage, because without teachers and mentors fostering dedication to poetry and arts education, we would have a less vibrant world. Again, congratulations to our participants, and good luck to Lydia Smith and our runner-up, Connor Gargiulo, who will be representing New Jersey at Nationals this May.
Let's keep that applause going as I wish you all safe travels, and one more round of applause for our students, everyone who participated today. Thank you very much, everyone. Safe travels.